Could we have roll call, please?
Smith,
Here?
Brock,
Here.
Winger,
Here.
Price,
Here.
Hilton, here, Stanton, here, Hess, here. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. We could all remove our hats and say the pledge together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Adoption of agenda. I don't know of any changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Public input. It's the practice of the Board of Education to permit people from the audience to make statements at this time. According to the board policy, the Board of Education the board policy on public input, the board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Members of the public may address the Board of Education during public comment for up to 3 minutes. Speakers will be recognized by the presiding officer and are asked to state their name, address, and group affiliation if applicable. As a reminder, all comments shall be directed to the board and not to staff or other participants. No participant may speak more than once. Participants may not behave in a manner that is disruptive to the orderly conduct of the meeting. The Board of Education does not respond to public comment. The superintendent will follow up with speakers when appropriate. So at this time, we'll begin public comment. Is there anyone who would like to address the board?
Oh,
I have this. If
Okay.
you want to talk on that.
nope, I'm good. My name is Heidi Van Amen. I have been a lifelong, well, I shouldn't say lifelong, married to my husband, who's a lifelong community member. And my husband and I, and my name is Heidi Van Amen, sorry. And people that know me know I'm not a good public speaker. I'm good talking one-on-one. I live at 6701 West Irving Road. My husband and I have raised 2 children who both went on to successful careers with advanced degrees thanks to the education and experiences they received from TK. My husband's family are multi-generational TK alumni, speaking back to the 40s. We're both very, very proud to call this community home. I'm really happy to see former students return to the community to work, to start businesses, to start families, to teach at our schools, to buy or rent homes, to volunteer, or even serve on our school board. So thank you. TK must be doing something right. I'm here tonight to remind you that yes, TK has room for growth and change, as do all schools. But what is important is that you hear that when people are happy, you rarely hear from them. They are the happy but silent majority. It's usually a few consistent ones that you hear from. Over the last few months, the district has experienced a terrible tragedy, but I'm heartened to see the district working positively with parent groups to work through this. I started working at TK in 1986 as a secretary in the elementaries, and then went on to administration, and just recently retired. I've seen a lot, our ups and downs. I've seen that our district has no ulterior motives hidden in our curriculum, that our board believes in their publicly displayed signed governance document stating their commitment to the district, but that the staff who are truly dedicated, and I know that everyone wants what's best for the district and their students. I have also witnessed a small handful of people harass our school community, the village, and our townships from behind the mask of social media. These people do not represent us, the silent majority. Please do not be misled by the minority. Continue your good and sometimes thankless work for TK. And for the staff, all the staff, know you are appreciated. For those who go home each day after caring for students, only to see or hear mean, bullying, and untrue accusations on social media, know that you have made a difference in our children's lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Regan Galinsky, Yankee Springs Township. I have one TK grad, two TK high school students, and an exchange student at this time. It's a good time to be a TK Trojan. Like all humans and groups of humans, we make mistakes and have opportunities for growth. As a district, I am confident we can embrace the good and change what needs changing. I want to start by shining some light on the good. This past weekend was the TK High School musical performance of The Wizard of Oz. The kids presented all 3 nights to almost sold-out audiences. The community support was evident. The show was fantastic and showed how hard these diverse group of students and staff work to put on a spectacular show. The theater department should be proud. In other news, to celebrate diverse and intelligent students, TK will be hosting our 8th Odyssey of the Mind state finals this weekend. The best of the best from around the state will come here to showcase their creativity. The public is welcomed and encouraged to attend. Winter sports are wrapping up successful seasons with wrestling state qualifiers and finishers, ski race conference medalers, FFA first place finishes, and I think somebody had a state place finish last weekend as well. BPA competitions, and bowling and cheering having respectable finishes with their conferences. There's so many opportunities for students to be involved. I know I've missed some things. For the younger students, March is Reading Month. One of the things I miss most about having elementary-aged kids is the reading events that happen this month. Our staff has always excelled at making this fun and exciting for new readers. Reading is the gateway to the world. The diversity of our students and their achievements is to be honored. Diversity is a glorious thing and should be celebrated in all the ways it makes us better, not used as a weapon to divide and make others feel small or to report your school district. This community is strong and wants to pull in a good leader. A quality superintendent can thrive here. We have lots of good material to work with. While I know many of us are aware of the good things, it is a good review for us all. We are so much better than our 2 new board members who refused to sign a code of conduct at the last board meeting and carry outside influence into our district. I want to read the code that Mrs. Hilton and Stanton refused to sign at the last meeting. It's the governance team standards of practice. I'm going to skip a little bit of it, but the bold points are: make the success of all students our first priority, set high expectations for student achievement, demonstrate trust and respect for others at all times, agree to disagree and positively support board decisions, even if they're not your own, my words added. Communicate openly, honestly, and transparently, operate within the highest of ethical standards, and analyze board performance and execute action plans for improvement in order to continuously pursue excellence. They should be required to be transparent about what parts of this they disagree with or refusing to abide by, because if they cannot do this, they should not be sitting on this board. I hope they see the short-sightedness of their decisions and decide to do what is best for our district. The community is watching and will suffer if you continue down this selfish path. We have more to offer than what we have here right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Chrissy Huson. I've been a proud resident of Middleville for over 20 years. I'm the mother of a 2023 grad and a current TK High School senior. I also had the honor of serving on the TK Board of Education for nearly 4 years. In the Thornapple Kellogg District, it is a long-standing tradition for board members to sign the Board Governance Standards of Practice, also known as the Board Code of Conduct. This happens when every newly elected member joins the board. I signed it in 2023, and many others did before me. On February 10th, 2 board members, Katie Stanton and Kara Hilton, chose not to sign the document. Ms. Hilton mentioned that she found the board member ethics policy to be more stringent and preferred to adhere to that instead. While I respect her perspective, I believe that signing the code of conduct, which fellow board members have agreed to, is important for maintaining our shared standards. To me, and perhaps for our community, This decision suggests that Ms. Hilton and Ms. Stanton might not fully commit to setting high expectations for student achievement, demonstrating trust and respect for others at all times, agreeing to disagree, and positively supporting board decisions, communicating openly, honestly, and transparently, operating within the highest ethical standards, analyzing board performance and executing action plans for continuous improvement, making the success of all students their first priority. The last point is particularly significant to me. When I served, behind each board member's nameplate was a piece of paper that read, "What is best for kids?" This served as a constant reminder of our purpose. If the success of all students isn't your first priority, why are you at this table? Our community elected you to advocate for their children, grandchildren, neighbors, friends, and loved ones. You represent all of us, regardless of race, gender, religion, or background. So I ask again, why are you sitting at this board table if you cannot commit to the highest ethical standards and prioritize the success of all of our students? I love this district. My children have been nurtured by amazing teachers, and I know they will be positive and productive contributors to their communities because of the education they've received here at TK. I'm excited about the future and want to see this district continue to thrive for generations to come. To achieve this, we need to recruit a dynamic superintendent, one who shares our passion and vision. While the recent actions of 2 new board members have raised some concerns for me, I believe we as a community can address these issues together. Remember, your board seat is a nonpartisan position. Please set aside personal agendas, unite as a strong board, and focus on recruiting the best superintendent for this TK school district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, a little short. So, hi, I'm Ann Hamming, the proud mom of 2 TK graduates and a former board member. I'm here to speak to you tonight because Thornapple Kellogg Schools has historically been a highly desirable district that attracted strong superintendent candidates. And it matters because it matters with enrollment. People choose to send their children here, and property values rise the more desirable the school district is. But at this point in a superintendent search, from my experience, the district should have roughly 20 qualified applicants to choose from. This district currently has 4, and that number could drop. The candidates are undoubtedly watching this meeting to decide if they want to move forward. Several have already withdrawn after watching board members of the last 2 months and hearing about the toxic things going on in this community. And not because of the people, but because of a small few. The 2 newest members of the school board have made life hell for the last 3 superintendents through relentless interference via email and social media, and now they have a seat at the board table. 2 superintendents ago, the man took medical leave, in part because of the stress. Our last superintendent, they exhausted him. To see how, read all 633 pages of a recent FOIA request. The FOIA reveals petty games over things like scheduling a meeting, filling out a form, and even calling our last superintendent a pedophile about library books. Other times, this current board member told our superintendent he didn't understand basic law or policy, and she accused him of gaslighting when he corrected her. To date, Mrs. Hilton and Mrs. Stanton have filed 77 Freedom of Information requests. The legal bill for processing them approaches $10,000. No superintendent candidate in his right mind would sign on to work under those conditions. To sense the scope, the administration found that there were enough correspondence to equal 1 email every day for the last 5 years. The community needs to know the gravity of this situation, and they are jeopardizing the future of this district, future enrollment that impacts funds to work with, that impacts our property values, and more. The next superintendent will not be successful as long as those 2 members are on this current board. I urge you to do what you can, which is to pass a motion to censure Mrs. Hilton and Mrs. Stanton. Censure shows superintendent candidates that you understand the problem and the community is committed to doing better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Stevie Barnett, and I am a parent to 3 children in this district. I really appreciate the opportunity to address you today. Before I start, I just want to bring your attention to your own policy on the back of the agenda. I understand a lot of people have political feelings one way or the other. I am not here to talk about specific board members. I wanted to talk to you about some actual concerns about the district. And as a concerned member of this community, I wanted to share a few thoughts on issues I think are really crucial for our continued growth. First, as we move forward in the search for a new superintendent, I urge the board to prioritize finding a candidate who values and actively seeks out parent input and involvement. Our parents are a vital part of the educational community, and their perspective provides essential insight and support. In more recent years, parents have been made to feel as if they are not welcome, especially in the middle school and high school, and it's important that a new superintendent recognizes the importance of and fosters a culture of collaboration with the families. I also want to bring your attention to an issue regarding the scheduling of parent meetings, such as the Parent Advisory Committee. These important meetings are being held during school hours, which presents a significant barrier for working families who are unable to attend due to their professional commitments. The involvement of parents is critical to the success of our students, and when the majority of parents are excluded from these meetings, it diminishes the opportunity for meaningful engagement and collaboration. Working parents, especially those with demanding schedules, including our own educators, who often have children in the district, should not have to choose between their job and participating in their children's education. I respectfully request that the board and the superintendent consider offering alternative meeting times, such as potentially later in the evenings or weekends, to accommodate the diverse needs of all of our families. This adjustment would demonstrate a commitment to inclusivity and ensure that every parent has the opportunity to be an active participant in their child's academic journey. I also strongly encourage the board and the superintendent to insist that building administrators at both the middle school and the high school allow the establishment of a parent-teacher organization, as well as expand volunteer opportunities in both buildings. These initiatives do not only give parents and community members a greater chance to support the schools, but they also create a more engaged and connected school environment. Whether through organizing events, supporting students, or sharing financial resources, parent involvement can make a significant impact. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to seeing positive steps taken on these issues.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Hoskins. I had a graduate in 2016, 2021. I've been involved as volunteer for 21 years at the district at least. And so I would like to make a comment, if I may, on the last speaker, as far as changing the meetings. It has been my opinion, that a lot of times having the evening meetings, not that many show up, you know? So please don't, okay?
All your comments.
Yeah, okay. That the meetings don't necessarily bring that many more parents in. Maybe some, but to change the meetings, it may or may not help. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I do have a couple of issues, time permitting. One is my concern about the possibility, the lack of applicants that we have for the superintendent's position. Like it was previously stated, we have always had a ton of applicants. We don't anymore. And that seriously is very, very concerning. TK has always been a great district. And I think there has been a lot of negativity about the board. The board has exuded a lot of negativity, especially prior to the last election. I feel that there's not a very welcoming atmosphere here, and if it is a reputation problem with the board. Now, due to a Freedom of Information Act request, I have discovered that a board member has sent well over 600 emails over a 2-year period to the board and to the superintendent. That doesn't include any emails to the middle school and to the high school. So we could be talking thousands of emails to complain about things. And you wonder why we don't have a lot of people applying for the superintendent's position. My own personal opinion is, if someone is that disenchanted with the school system, why don't they homeschool? Or is it someone's Christian duty to intimidate and harass board members, admin, and staff? Is the goal to terrorize the teachers into doing what? We need to make sure that the current board knows, as I think most do, that they are representing and advocating for all students. That doesn't include students whose lifestyle you may not agree with, which is none of your business. You cannot only represent the white Republican churchgoers. You need to look out for everyone. You need to make sure that everyone feels safe in this district, no matter what. I'm about to be out of time. I can't read the rest of it here, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Sherry Brunsma, and I've been a Thornapple Kellogg parent for the last 15 years. I have a daughter that graduated, and I have a son that is still currently in the high school. I've watched our district go from the last several years from desirable to one where parents, administrators, and teachers are fleeing. And one of the reasons for this is an out-of-control community member who now sits on our board. I bring this to the board's attention at this point because it is crucial the board deals with this issue, or we will not get a superintendent that will benefit our district. I want transparency, integrity, and accountability at all levels. Those are not my words. Those are Kira Hilton's words in an email to Dave Smith on February 9th of this year. Let's look at the transparency that Kira has provided to the community since she's been on the board. She has a Facebook page in which she says that she is a public official. She posts board information and various things relating to the school board. But when someone asks a question she doesn't like or makes a comment she doesn't agree with, she blocks that community member and deletes their comment. This not only lacks transparency, it violates the law. She fails to state that the views expressed on the page are hers in violation of Board Policy 0143.1. This is a policy that she previously called out another board member for violating, so obviously she knows that it exists. She has asked the superintendent and board president for information on the makeup of a crisis team, hoping it can be done outside a public meeting. And there are 63 pages of email exchanges since January 1st of this year, criticizing the interim superintendent, demanding changes she wants that have not gone through the board or the process, and harassing people when she doesn't get her way. She insists that others follow the rules when she won't do so herself. And none of this is surprising. If you look at the 600-page FOIA that has been released, she's been doing this unchecked for years. This board needs to put a stop to it, or no professional will want to work in our district. And that will just mean the continued decline of our schools, which benefits no one in our community. I join Ann Hamming's request, and I ask that the board formally censure her. Let her know that the continued harassment and micromanagement of the superintendent won't be tolerated. Let her know that the rules apply to her as much as they apply to everyone else. Let her know that transparency, integrity, and accountability applies to everyone, not just those she chooses to single out. If the board takes this action, it will send a message to superintendent candidates and our community that the TK community is better than this, that we won't tolerate bullying from anyone, no matter who is doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I am Robin Lonsma. I have a son who graduated in 1997 and a daughter who graduated in 1999. We've lived in this area for over 40 years. I just have a quick comment. I didn't expect to speak, but I just want to make this comment. Last year, we had a free and fair election for the TK School Board members. The people of our community have spoken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pat Jameson, South Bowens Mills. 10 years ago, Tom Enslin was our superintendent. 10 years ago, Dave Smith was our board president. What has changed in 10 years? Well, our test scores not even half our kids are proficient in reading or in any test scores. Why are we listening to the same people 10 years later to fix the problem they created? As far as the last superintendent search went, I'm hearing a bunch, we only have 4. That's 3 more than the last superintendent search. The last superintendent search, I was there, sitting in this room, barely anybody there. The only person that they interviewed was Mr. McCarthy. Where was this caring then? Some of the people that come up and spoke that want to censure new board members, they were on the board at that time. They didn't do their due diligence back then. So to the 2 board members, the 3 new board members, thank you very much, and please keep in consideration that you were voted in. Don't listen to the minority.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. Dave Lonsma. Our children graduated from TK. My wife was just up here, residents of the district for 40 years. I'd like to thank all the board members for taking the time to serve, especially a warm welcome to our 3 newest ones. I have full confidence in their ability to conduct themselves on this board properly and appropriately and in the best interest of the district that voted them into this position. So welcome. I'd like to make a request to the board again to reconsider including the second public comment on the basis that the input of the TK district residents that you represent is important and is valued and should be heard. Not just at the beginning where we're obligated to comment on things from a month ago, but also at the end of the meeting where we have an opportunity for input on the issues and topics that you covered in this meeting. That only makes sense. To not go that direction suggests that you do not value the input and you're just trying to avoid it. Just please don't take that route. There's no harm done in getting the input of the people you represent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Doug Nagel. I've got a high schooler and a graduate. I live down on Bender Road, the spot where we cut down a bunch of trees. So if somebody needs a free firewood, let me know. We got tons of it. This is regarding the FOIA release that was related to Kira Hilton. I spent a lot of time with this, way more than I should have. And there's a few kind of trends that I'm seeing over years of emails. The vast majority of it's nonsense. It is just, it's like nonsensical ramblings of stuff and demands. And every once in a while, there's like a hyperlink tossed in to make it feel legit. They're kind of suspect. I did not go to any of them because I don't want that crap on my phone. Harassment and bullying, tons of it. I mean, just demand after demand after demand about policies and procedures and committee makeups. To the administration, to the staff, to the board. It's incredible. Repeatedly, they said, let's sit down and talk. Let's sit down and talk about what you're looking for. Answers are, I can't. I'm too busy. I have things to do. But mountains of emails keep flowing. Some significant concerns. One, calling out the faith of a board member to the point where that person was so offended that they told the person in question they will not communicate with her anymore. They're designating someone else to communicate because calling out their faith. Dragging people through the mud, highly concerning. Reporting a staff member for distribution of child pornography because of a book that's in the library to the county sheriff. It was in the emails. Stated, reported for child pornography district. That is dragging people through the mud. As far as I can tell, this is like a systemic attack on the district and its employees. People that are here trying to do the right thing for the kids that they designated or put their lives to is under attack by one person. So with that, why the harassment when they say they love this community? Why the bullying when they love the staff? Why? I don't know the answers, but what I do know is one of two things need to happen. That person needs to get up, walk out the door, and never come back to this board, or you need to do your job and censor them. This is ridiculous and embarrassing.
Thank you. Anyone else?
You sure? I can sit up and down 4 more times. Andy Cove, Irving Township. Nearly 20 years ago, our family moved into the TK school district. At first, we expected that we would school of choice our boys back to Hastings, where both my wife and I had graduated. However, one of our boys was struggling. By 3rd grade, he was receiving extra help, but was in the same room with disciplinary issue children. Not an ideal learning environment. At the end of the year, an administrator from Hastings asked why we just didn't take our kids to TK because they offered so much more support. It was a larger ISD with more resources. We made the leap as our son entered Page. By the time he left Page and was going to TKMS, the strides he'd made put him at or beyond grade level. The reason I share this story, because of what we quickly discovered at TK. There was one mission: do what's best for kids. Not just my kid, your kid, or the kids of parents who voted for you as board members, but all kids. I have expressed to many over the years that TK has just one agenda. The administration, the school board, teachers, parents, and community want to do what's best for all kids, or at least they used to. Does that mean things were perfect? No. I remember former Superintendent Gary Ryder once saying to me, "I hear you say how great TK is, but you want change." I explained it is great, but that doesn't mean we can't try to do better and that we shouldn't strive to do better. I've had many conversations over the last 20 years with Gary, Tom, Dan, Rob, and Craig, and I've seen how much those things have changed, some for the better, but clearly it has become more difficult for those educating our kids to simply do their job. I believe that this is because we no longer have one agenda at TK. I'm confident that this board doesn't even have a unified agenda anymore. It's truly sad to see how we've wavered from the simple mission of do what's best for all kids. I'm sure Tom, as our current superintendent interim, could tell us ad nauseum how much things have changed in just a decade since he retired. We are at a critical crossroads as we look to hire our next superintendent. If we don't have a common mission shared by all, how is someone supposed to lead us forward? Why would someone want to subject themselves to having multiple conflicting agendas that can't be met? We will be forced to go through this entire process again, like we have multiple times the last few years. It all starts with you, board. You set the tone, you clarify the mission. Only then can we build the unity with the staff, the families, and our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laura Weeks. I live in Meadowville. I've been here for 16 years, and I have 2 kids at TK. I first want to say thank you so much for the teachers. I know some of you guys are here. I just want to say thank you to the teachers and staff of TK for the hard work and dedication. I see you, I appreciate you, and your impact to our children does not go unnoticed. Especially everyone at the middle school. I know that this year has been really tough. Second, I'd like to know why some of the board members did not sign the ethics code at the last meeting. I understand that many people have said this before, but as elected officials, your job is to be transparent and accountable to the community. Refusing to sign brings up concerns about your commitment to acting in the best interest of all students and the school. So I would like to ask for a formal explanation of what specific parts of the ethics code are you refusing to follow and why. Choosing not to sign sends a troubling message about your integrity and your priorities. Lastly, I just want to say that as you start wrapping up this year and start thinking about next year, I urge you to do better to support teachers who work every day with students facing different challenges. They deserve better resources, training, and support from you and from the community. Public schools should remain a place for education, free from religion, free from political agendas. I urge the board to focus on fairness, acceptance, and true educational equity so every student feels valued and supported. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, is there a way you can leave your, because you wanted an answer, a response? Would you leave your email? Thank you.
Oh, you want an email? You want me to do it right here?
If your email address is on there, I can find it.
It's not, but I'll email it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Greg Husen, and I live in TK School District, and I would just like to ask a question. Is the answer from Kira going to go just to that person, or every single person who asked the same question as her?
He asked for a response.
That's it.
All right, my name is Stephanie Freen. Members of this board are known to be strong advocates for parental rights. I'm a parent, and I have 2 young children that attend school at the TK district. And tonight, I'm asking the board members to really think about what your role is and what your responsibility is when one parent turned board member uses unrelenting, conflict-driven tactics to infringe the rights of hundreds of other parents in the district. As a parent, I believe I should have the right for my children to attend a district that will pull out every stop in their effort to recruit and retain the best and most talented leaders, administrators, and teachers. But right now, as we search for a new superintendent, we know that this parent has subjected superintendents past and current to endless phone calls, meeting requests, emails, written in condescending tone, threats of legal action, actual legal action, public criticism, and being labeled as a pedophile without any evidence. I should have the right to send my child to school each day knowing they will be valued, respected, and supported because they are being taught by teachers that are valued, respected, and supported. But in fact, this parent turned board member makes demands to them, invades their personal time, questions their judgment, and has even had all of their email accounts searched for keywords they deemed to be related to liberal ideology. While at the same time, this parent was communicating with other board members and asked them to move to a personal email so that they could discuss conservative organizations. This school's resources are finite, the money, but also the time and emotional capacity of each person that is a part of it. And as a parent, I should have the right to trust that these resources are being used and expended with purpose to improve the lives and education of all of our children. But this select person has cost the school thousands of dollars, hundreds of man-hours, reading and responding to hundreds of messages, and immeasurable amount of burden of stress onto our leadership as they appear to continuously create problems to be angry about and then insist they are the only one capable of solving them. It is not in our best interest as a whole for so much of our resources to be spent on one person. And I do think it is really something this board needs to consider. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Again, my name's Jessica Schrader. I have the privilege to live across from Lee Elementary. And I came and talked with you last month too. Thank you for the time again. Last month I talked with you about risk. I'm gonna ask all of you to really, as you go forward, think about the risks of your actions. not just related to a specific topic that's coming up here tonight, but how it affects the rest of our district too. Tonight I'm coming to you as kind of a scared parent. I have 2 younger kids. I did my homework when I moved to this district 10 years ago. I'm not a TK person. I'm not a TK alum. I knew nothing about TK or Middleville before we moved here 10 years ago. I did my research, came to board meetings, I listened to parents, I looked at the district. I have a family member that can help me search what to look for in a district, and we chose TK. We chose TK 10 years ago. My kids are younger. They have been blessed with amazing teachers, and that is what I'm scared for if we don't have a good superintendent. My kids do not learn like other children. To put their learning equity at risk because of political conflicts is scary for me. I don't want to lose what they have right now, and I do not want to lose what we might have in the future, and that scares me. If there are superintendent candidates listening tonight, I hope they hear that we need their help. A lot of this community wants to work with them, whatever side you are on, but I hope that they will hear that. I hope that you will hear that, and I hope you will consider the risks of your actions that you have taken and will consider them going forward. I ask that maybe there be a motion to consider re-signing the ethics document tonight, and if that is not taken, if you would ask, I would ask that you make a motion to censor the 2 members that won't, to try and show an effort of unity between the board members that we do have that have been so kind to sign that. I do thank you all for your time. I know you all have kids' hearts in mind. I just ask that you keep every kid's heart and every kid's situation in mind going forward. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ann Clute, a Middleville resident and a TK parent. When we moved to the area 9 years ago, we chose Middleville over Caledonia or Hastings because it had the wonderful benefits of both a small community and amazing school system, although it did take a few years to get used to the elementaries across 3 buildings thing. Unfortunately, over the past few years, a group of community members have made it their mission to attack our schools and administration at every chance. They have screamed about parental rights, but only their own. They feel that they should dictate how everyone else should parent their children. They have tried to influence the curriculum and ban books from even the public library. Due to a campaign funded by an anti-public education group and their scaring away of any other viable candidates from running, these board members, or 2 of this group, are now sitting on our board. These board members do not understand their roles, and one refuses to even take the recommended board training courses. These members refuse to sign the Board of Governance agreement. This does not bode well for their willingness to actually work with the other members and community to actually benefit all of our students. They continue to overstep their roles by pretending to be the voice of the district and putting out information that is related to fringe extremist groups and other agents that are trying to end public education that is available to all of our community. For example, telling a TK parent at a school volunteer event that they should pull their children out and homeschool them. Or pushing the McCarthy-era website that allows people to report staff for the great sin of being inclusive. We cannot move back to being the great district that I moved to if we do not have a good superintendent. We will not get one that is willing to take the abuse from the current board. I would hope that Ms. Hilton and Ms. Stanton would choose to do what is best for the community and step down, but I know better. The only solution is to have the rest of the board censure them. As someone who has had their children attacked by these people, I know that they do not have a conscience outside of their myopic, distorted view of their chosen religion, and we need to do better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jamie Nelson. I am a staff member, a graduate. I am I lived here my whole life. My dad taught here. I have all the stories that I see, all the faces, and it just occurred to me over the last few school boards that I have interacted with all of you on some level. This is a great place. I've had students. I've had people's grandkids and kids in class. I've had all sorts of interaction with so many of you, and your kids are amazing. Your kids are absolutely amazing. And all we want is to help you do that. But we are scared. We are scared that you are going to be mad at something we did that you don't agree with, and you're going to drag us through the mud. On some social media platform, it is hard to do our job when we have to hold back so much out of fear. And I just want to please remember that if somebody is doing something that you do not agree with, please let the principal know, and we can deal with a personnel issue in our school. We do not have to publicly crucify our staff. They are scared. They leave. We've had many staff members leave out of fear or looking for something more safe, or I don't even know what they all are, but it is really, really hard to work here sometimes because it is scary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Last call. Okay, that closes, oh, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jade Flickma. I was born with a whisper, so please bear with me. I didn't come here with a speech, but I can tell you my experiences at TK. I graduated a little bit ago, and I do think you guys did really well for some parts of it, but there were some parts that weren't okay. Like, for example, the bullying. I was bullied a lot. I remember people would just make fun of me constantly. Sometimes it felt a little bit unsafe. There were just some interesting people there, and I feel like the staff didn't do much about it. As well as another concern of mine was, I don't think any of my friends came to school sober, and nothing was done. I can't recall one friend I had that came to school actually sober and wasn't high. So, there's some good things and some bad things, but I definitely do think some things need to change.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
We'll take the inspirational courage from my little sister to come up here. Hello, my name is Jagger Flickema. I am a class of 2015 graduate, as well as the sibling of 5 other either graduates, current students, or future students at TK. I stand here to speak to the school board for the second time in my life. Last time I was in middle school, which I believe was in front of you, Mr. Enslin, to save a robotics class, as we were concerned about some budget cuts at the time. I thank you for saving that class at the time. There's been numerous discussions over the past few weeks regarding a culture of bullying within our school system. I was not able to make it to last month's meeting, so I stand here before you now. I'd like to add my own story regarding this. During my years in the middle school here at TK, I was bullied by a staff member's son, child of a staff member. Nothing was ever done with that issue, as I had reported it many times. Being bullied in class, through the halls, teased, picked on, shoved into lockers, and called queer slurs. They apparently knew before I knew myself. The culture of this starts at the top. It starts with you, our school board. which is why I find it immensely dismaying that we have two school board members who refuse to sign a simple code of ethics. I know there has been calls to respond and list the reasons why we refuse to sign this. I would encourage those to be published publicly if you are able to do so. I know that may be difficult, as some have blocked half the community on those social media platforms, so we may not see it. I'm speaking, thank you. I'm speaking, thank you. I would say it's tragically shameful that a code of ethics is refusing to be signed, as that is the base level for all of our operations here at the school board. If we cannot act in an ethical way, there's no point in acting. So if you refuse to sign the code of ethics, I urge you to resign your positions, because there is no reason for you to be behind that desk if you refuse to act ethically. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to say that at the last board meeting, it was mentioned why I didn't sign that, so.
Board does not respond.
Is there anyone else who would like to provide a public input? Okay, one more opportunity. Okay, thank you. That closes public input. Consent grouping. We have 3 items on our consent grouping. They can be pulled for a separate vote if someone has a question about one of them. Otherwise, they can be adopted in one motion with a roll call vote. Is there anything anyone would like to see removed for separate consideration?
I'll make a motion to approve the items of the consent grouping 3A through 3C.
Second.
Been motioned and supported to approve the consent grouping items as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Could we have roll call, please?
Brock?
Yes.
Wanger,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes?
Hess, yes, Price,
Yes.
Hilton,
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Board items for information, Special Education Department update.
Sarah Hammer.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Hammer, and I'm the Director of Special Ed here at Thornapple Kellogg Schools. And I am here today to present on one of our really wonderful programs that we have here, and that is our inclusion program in our Great Start Readiness. And so the very first thing we're going to kind of talk about is all of the different programs and services that we have here at TK Schools. So we have our early childhood special education programming. We have our 1755 programming, which is our inclusion programming, or preschool. We have resource room programming, which is K-12. Our cognitively impaired programming, which is also K-12. Our autism program, which is currently K-8, but starting next school year, we also are going to have a high school program, which I'm super excited about. And then we have a bunch of services that we provide our kids while they're here at school. We provide speech, occupational therapy, social work, physical therapy, vision, hearing, and then nursing services. Altogether, we have roughly about 451 students district-wide that are receiving programs and services here at TK Schools. That doesn't count our little itty-bitties, which are our birth to 3, and then also our transition young adults as well. So I got the pleasure of sitting on 2 IEPs for them today, so that was fantastic to see them after they leave here at TK Schools. And you're one of them. You're right, you are. So our programming at early childhood is one of a really unique type of programming that we had started over 6 years ago. We were a pilot program when it first started, and now we have 81% of our students that are in our early childhood programming that are included with their general education peers. We are the highest amount in all of the Kent ISD, and that is a credit to the wonderful staff that we have here, the parent support, and just the school board support and the central office support. Without all of them, we never would be able to strive for this. Over the past 6 years, we've serviced close to 80 students within our 1755 program, which is absolutely remarkable. There are a lot of benefits and goals of our inclusion preschool program. One of them is that we like to provide what we call the least restrictive environment for our students, our special education students. This prepares us to get to really know the students here at the Early Childhood Center, so then we can launch them off to McFall without a hiccup, right? So we want to make sure that we get to know all of the types of supports that they need and all of the services that they would need to be successful as they hit that K-1 building. We also like to support the general education teachers as they go on to McFall as well with best practices and research-based strategies to make sure that as they once again go from a classroom of 16 students with 2 adults to a classroom of 24 students or so with just 1 adult, sometimes 2 adults. And so that also is one of our goals. We support differentiated instruction, and then we provide the accommodations that our students need to ensure that they have access to that general education curriculum. And then also it gives a unique opportunity for all students with all unique abilities and strengths. It not only is a benefit to our students with IEPs, but it's also a benefit to all of the students within that building. And so that also allows us to grow and understand that all students are unique and different, and they all deserve the right to be educated here. So GSRP is our Great Start Readiness Program. I think Amanda Hooksma came a couple months ago and actually presented that TK Schools is going to be taking over all of our GSRP programming, which is really outstanding for us. So that means we're now going to be able to have 8 classrooms to help support our students with IEPs, where before we had our 4 classrooms, and we already have our 8 teachers who are fighting over who gets the opportunity to have our kids, which is pretty awesome, because in a lot of situations, students with IEPs or students with disabilities aren't necessarily accepted and included, which that is the exact opposite here at TK Schools. And so the logistics of it is that our inclusion students are enrolled in GSRP just like their other classrooms. They're then placed with their gen ed peers, and they get to work together with the gen ed staff and the special ed staff to create our IEP, which is an individualized education plan and goals, and then they all work together to then create those lesson plans, which then provides an inclusive environment for all of our students. And then within those classrooms, the students receive all of their services. So if they need speech and language services, the speech and language pathologist goes in and does small groups with all of the students in the classroom. If the physical therapist or the occupational therapist. So that also gives all of the students the benefit of being able to receive and have those opportunities. And it also is an early intervention for us as well, if in case a parent or a student or somebody needed a little additional help, it's all built into that classroom. So the benefits, right? There are so many benefits when it comes to inclusion. So it's role models and, for typically developing peers for our students with IEPs. It allows for independence, communication, and social skills. We do have one classroom here that is solely just students with IEPs. And then our hope is that they start in that program, and then they get to grow out into our inclusion preschool program. And so that allows us to again, provide that independence communication, and it provides high quality lessons for all of our students. So just because you need a little bit of extra help doing this, or you maybe need a little bit of extra help, putting your coat on or writing your name or something like that, you still deserve the right to be able to be in there with your peers. And that can just be differentiated, which is amazing. And then it also fosters a sense of belonging and membership. We have so many parents that ask for their students to be in these classrooms with our students with special needs, because it not only helps their student, but it helps others. We have parents already at our McFall that are emailing and saying, could you please, put my son or daughter with so-and-so, or could you please, and again, unheard of, right? Normally you get the opposite. Please don't put my son or daughter with that student, but that is not the case the majority of the time. And then the gen ed benefits, right? So inclusion preschool celebrates everybody. It doesn't exclude. And it allows for early intervention, like we kind of talked about. And then it just allows for a great little practice. Amy, do you recognize that cute little pumpkin right there? And it allows for all of our students just to again, belong to what is important. And so today I actually there's quite a few of you sitting in the audience of our students who actually came through our GSRP program. Some of our students who came through the program no longer are eligible for special ed. It was a really neat story the other day. Part of my job too is I get to go to home visits. So when the students are 2 and 6 months, I get to go and visit in the home. And there's a lot of times that I sit there with parents and they are crying because they're like, what is the future going to hold, Sarah? What does that look like? And I said, let's just get them to school and they're going to be okay. And I got to sit on the other end of the table with a parent the other day cried, 6 years ago. And then we cried just the other day because they're no longer eligible for special education. And they came through our inclusion program and they were given the opportunity to be able to, be with their gen ed peers and be successful. So we're going to meet the Kenyans here, but we're not going to watch the video. Don't push. No, we got the Kenyan right here. She's right here in front of us. So Laura Kenyon is actually one of the inspirations and the reasons why we piloted this 6 years ago. So she is going to kind of tell her story a little bit and talk to us about why she felt that it was so important to work with all of us.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Laura Kenyon. My husband and I have 3 children. We moved here in 2006, so we've been here quite a while. I have a high school student, a middle school student, and a 3rd grade student. My 3rd daughter is who Sarah is speaking of. Her name is Grace. Most people know her. I see people all the time who know who she is, and I have no idea who they are. No idea. She's a really popular kid, for sure. And so she also happens to have an extra chromosome, also known as Down syndrome. And I spoke to this in the interview that I did for the school about YTK. There's a little tiny blip of me in there. And basically I said that when she was born and she had Down syndrome, I was really nervous about what school was going to look like for her. It was my largest fear, is what school was going to look like her. And I happen to be a believing person in God, and that is one of the things that I would tout to say I was wrong, and I am so grateful for. We have been so blessed by the support of the TK community. Sarah Hammer helped pilot that program when she started her early on education, and then there was another teacher here named Annie Bosch, who's now working in her home district where she lives. However, as an inclusion specialist, they really worked to get that program going, and it's been great. So my daughter was part of that program for GSRP. She's been through McFall. She's now in Lee, supported in the classroom with extra things. We had her conference tonight. It went really well already. Her teachers were talking about what's next year going to look like. She's going to move to Page. What is Page going to be like? And they're like forward thinking about what accommodations they could make to help her succeed. So we are so proud to be a TK family and so grateful for what the district has done for us. It's not been without hiccups, right? Have any of you raised a child that went without hiccups? None of us, right? And so anytime there's been something that's come up, I've sent an email or made a phone call, and we've been met with nothing but respect and teamwork. We've also chosen to be very vulnerable. Sometimes I send an email and I say, this is what's going on at home. These are the behaviors we're dealing with. We just want to lay it all out there for you guys. If anyone has for any of my children, I'm always open to suggestions for any of them anytime. And so it's just been an open environment where we can communicate and move forward, and I would encourage anyone to consider trusting our district with their child, particularly those with different abilities.
Perfect. And then, So Annie Bosch was the one who actually helped us start it. And then Amber Snow, she is unfortunately not here tonight, but she is also a really huge part of why our program continues to be as successful as it is. So now I had the joy of being able to kind of interview Grace and a couple of her friends the other day who now are third graders. And so I'm hoping that this doesn't play their video because,
Hello, we are Jeff and Laura Kenyon.
Yeah,
and we
so
have
this
been
was them
adults
6
for
years
about
ago.
15 years.
We don't even want to play that.
We
There
have
Can
3
we
girls
put that off?
in the TK school.
There we go. Okay. A day. Oh no. What? A day in the life, but it looks like. Why do we need to? Yeah. Do you have it?
I can send an email to someone really quick. I have it here.
Because I practiced all this today. I promise. All right. Let me see. Here, let me give Mark permission a second. Maybe. Me. Oh, not me. I can't do it. No. So I'm not the owner of that video, but why did it work for everybody else? Can you log off real quick and put mine on? I really want you guys to see this video. I really do. I'm so sorry.
Someone else's phone last week was able to log in. Can she just screen share?
I don't, can I screen share? How do we do that?
Log on.
I'm sorry, you guys.
It's okay.
Should we take can we take a recess? So we can go to the restroom?
No, I'm almost here.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess so they can try to connect.
Well, I need to use it.
Okay. All right. Why did
Gonna
that
come
not
back.
work for him?
Just so everybody knows, we're going to start back up at 8:12.
I'm sorry, you guys.
That's okay.
Let's try. What happens, yeah. This is adorable, though. That's so great. I love your. Yeah, I have a special ed person too. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have one that graduated who's 27, but I have one living with me now that's 17. Okay. Yeah, he just got diagnosed as being autistic. He's our foster child. So.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah. He's already, like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but he's like, I can't wait to get my own apartment. But I'm having a job. What if I need a week off? Like, he's like putting all these carts before the heart. It's adorable.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
awesome.
cute. Yeah. I'm like, okay, we'll help you. Yeah, we'll help you. So great. I can't wait to see this, you guys. How are you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Neck's better?
What?
Is
Yeah.
that your neck?
Yeah, it was my neck. Yeah.
What happened? I was waiting to ask you, and I couldn't even.
Saw that a pot got blown over my drive, like it was super clear on my house, and I didn't really know. I know that hit my head on the running board.
Have you seen your kids at all today or not really?
Not really. Just talked to Brody real quick, and then.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
Did he have baseball trials?
He did. Yeah. And then, in softball, I don't know.
Somebody said it was fine. She
Yeah.
said there's plenty of kids to be
Okay.
two teams, so that's good.
Good.
So, yep, grateful.
What time are we coming back at? No, he's sweating. Hopefully it will work. All right, I am so sorry. Technology is never my friend, so I really apologize. So I had an awesome high schooler who actually is one of our exchange students who helped me create this video with the students. And so I kind of wanted, the original thought was to show that video of Jeff and Laura 6 years ago with a little girl who hardly spoke, who hardly, wasn't, she just, she was always loving and caring, but just to now where she's a third grader and is here with her friends. And it's truly amazing. So thank you for hanging with me. I'm here today with some friends at Lee Elementary. So my name is Mrs. Hammer and I am the Director of Special Ed. And we are gonna learn about some really cool things that happened at Lee Elementary. And first we're gonna introduce some of our friends that we have.
Hi, my name is Jalen. My name is Grace. My name is Whit. My name is Abby.
All right, so the first thing is I would love for each of you to tell me what you love about third grade.
Having a bunch of friends.
I love having a bunch of friends like Gabby and Emma.
In math, there's like a challenge. That in second grade, you didn't really get a challenge, and in third grade, you get a lot bigger challenge.
Perfect, I love that. So also, what are some of your favorite things that you do with your friends in class?
We play games.
I like to play hockey. I like to play basketball and soccer.
I like to play board games and like to play like Legos and stuff. I like having all my friends in my class because I can depend on them when I need it.
Perfect. And I see that you guys have your Choose to Include shirts on today, which I actually wore mine yesterday, so I should have probably worn it today, but I wore mine yesterday. So what does that mean, Choose to Include? What does that mean?
Include any people in the game. I like to do basketball and include. If there's like a 2-player game, you don't have to only play with 2 people. You can change the game or just add another person. I like my shirt Choose to Include because that you can choose to include your friends or you can choose to include them. And I like to include my friends in any game as possible.
Perfect. So is there anything else that you guys would like to share that you would like people to know about Lee Elementary, about Choose to Include, about what it means just to be friends with people?
I had to do anything and I like it, and most of, and I like my bestie, Miss Sniff. She always helped me do math. McFall or all the other schools, there's like, you just do this, do that, but in Lee you can do pretty much a bunch of stuff.
Wow, so this just kind of shows what it means to include everybody, no matter what. So no matter if you're a girl, if you're a boy, if you need a little extra help with something, it just shows the power of inclusion and shows the power of what it means to be friends with everybody. So again, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk with us today and to kind of share your story. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thanks again. So that is truly why we do obviously what we do each day, especially as a special educator. It was so amazing just to see all of the students. I mean, everybody's just the same. It doesn't matter, and that's absolutely fabulous. And again, you don't want to watch that, so let me get out of this. And then I have 2 other quick little videos, just a quick show about. We have, again, our Choose to Include, and we have a really awesome opportunity where Vicki D'Amico at Lee Elementary started this a few years ago, and it has grown. It started with just a couple kids, and then it went to a class. Well, we had the opportunity to go play against that SEGO, again, with a lot of those individuals, of those students who started out in our inclusion preschool program and are now in 3rd grade. And so I just need to highlight just a few things. I'm a huge sports person, so of course it's basketball, but you can just see again the joy and the happiness that these kids have for all of their friends. So it's a basketball game where we have general ed peers paired with our students with special needs. And so they're working all together to allow, but listen to the crowd. Again, so incredibly heartwarming. And then this one actually represents Grace, who does love the game of basketball. She scored 20 points according to her, but you know, I love the dream. So there it is. So again, just the whole reason why we do what we do each and every day. And our students at Thornapple Kellogg are incredibly, they're the best. And when people ask why I do what I do, I have the best job. I truly have the best job. And so it starts here. It starts with the littles and it grows all the way up. And so thank you for listening. So sorry for the technical difficulties. But does anybody have any questions or anything in regards to you guys?
Well, I think I know who we need to pool for our student surveys, because they give real answers.
They
I
do.
really like that.
They do. They do. Yes. There was no, and it was pretty sweet because the high schooler who was doing it, she's like, Mrs. Hemer, should I include that or not? I'm like, absolutely include that.
And one actually serious quick question, sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt, but when you talk about them being supported going from school to school with our elementaries being divided, does that include a lot of staff, like sports staff that moves up with them? then?
Yeah, yes, it does. And so we actually, there's 88 staff within our special education department. So that's from teachers to paraprofessionals to occupational therapists to speech and language pathologists to school psychologists to everybody. But yes, we have a wonderful group of people who follow our students, and as big of a headache sometimes as it gives me to have to, every 2 years, it really does fall, yes, but we have a ton of support. And again, thank you guys for approving all of that support. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great presentation.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Okay, committee and liaison reporting. I don't think we had any committee meetings, did we? I'm not aware of any. Okay, we can skip over that. Board items for action, the 2025-26 school year calendar, or school calendar.
Yeah, I can speak to it. Thanks to, yeah, thank you. I guess I have to do that. Thank you, Jamie and Scott Chapanek. We had some conversations and we're at least able to get some dates on the calendar for our parents and our community. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, sorry. I know a lot of people have been asking about dates just to get school up and running. So I'm happy to announce that we do have a start date of Monday, August 25th, 2025, which will be a Monday. I just know a lot of people are looking to get their summer plans done. And then along with that, there's a few other dates that I can give out right now, and this is related to the Common School calendar that Kent ISD sets. Thanksgiving break will be November 26th through the 28th. Winter break will be December 22nd through January 2nd. And then spring break, which is always the first full week in April, but it'll be April 3rd through the 10th. So those I can give. However, any other dates related to the calendar have to be bargained. And we are wrapping up a 3-year deal with our teachers union. So as we start that, we'll get full calendar details. But we just know everyone's anxious for that first day and everything. So wanted to get that out now. So any questions related to the calendar? Okay, we had a second action item for tonight, and
Well,
this is...
we should approve the first item first and then move to the second. So I know it's really a formality, but.
Yeah, nope, sounds good.
We should still approve it. So I'd like to entertain a motion.
My second. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You want me to lead again? I've got every motion tonight. Nice. That the Board of Education set the August 25th, 2025 as the first day of school for students in the 2025-2026 school year.
Okay, it's been motioned and supported to approve August 25th as the first day of school and the other dates that were mentioned for the 25-26 school year. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Okay, structured fiber cabling bid.
Okay, yes, so our tech department recently went out to bid to run fiber from the high school server room to the high school press box. With the addition of the new scoreboard, our network and internet bandwidth requirements will need to be drastically increased to accommodate this with the videos, the graphics, and other needs that the scoreboard requires. So with that being said, he did a bid, John Dabrowski. We got 2 bids, as you can see, from AM.com Incorporated, as well as Turnkey Network Solutions. His recommendation is to go with Turnkey in the amount of $32,373.10, which you can see is more than the AM.com. And his rationale for this is, one, we have past history with them. They know our network. And AM.com did not come through to the walkthrough, so they don't probably fully understand the scope of it, or we just don't know. The other thing that I want to take note on is this is what's called USAC or E-rate eligible. So we have priority 1 and priority 2 where we get reimbursements due to a federal program out there. receives 70% reimbursement. So if I look at my numbers of that 32,373, multiply that times 70%, that's 22,661.17. The difference of that is 9,711.93, which is the true cost of the district that we would ultimately pay. I do want to let you know also that he put in a 10% contingency, so that amount that he is asking for is to not exceed $35,610 and 41 cents. So.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
I have a couple questions. The pre-bid meeting, was it mandatory?
I am not sure if it was or was not.
I mean, I agree with the logistics. I think you're making the right decision, I guess, with the recommendation. I would be hesitant in the future, or make it a common practice to jump low bids. Coming from the contractor world, it's not what we want to set a standard at. We want the best price possible, but in this case, it does make sense since we already have contract with them for the maintenance, and they are much more local coming from Caledonia versus Brighton, so.
And I'd agree, that's a very valid point. It's rare that we do that, and there's it's always for a good reason.
I think
if we
showing
do,
up
so.
pre-bid made,
Yeah,
you know,
sure, understand, totally.
importance.
Yep, appreciate that. Any other questions?
Did AMCOM not want to do a walkthrough?
I believe they were invited, but they just did not show. I believe all parties were invited. But yeah, these are the only two companies, and John just said one company showed, which was the turnkey.
Any other questions? I'd like to entertain a motion then. Nobody?
I get it. All right. I'll make a motion that the Board of Education award the structured fiber cabling bid to Turnkey Network Solutions not to exceed $35,610.41.
I'll support.
Okay. It's been motioned and supported to approve awarding the structured fiber cabling bid to Turnkey Network Solutions not to exceed $35,610.41. Any discussion on the motion? Could we have roll call, please?
Stanton?
Yes.
Hilton?
Yes.
Price?
Yes.
Hess, yes. Smith?
Yes.
Wenger?
Yes.
Brock? Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Okay, not a ton, and kind of a broken record. It's that time of year. I think I mentioned to the board that March tends to be that time of year where the moving parts at central office just begin to rear the old ugly head, you know, with resignations and retirements, learning about foundation allowances, governor's proposals, enrollment, trends. I mean, just the list goes on and on. So we're playing the shell game, which is kind of what happens at central office this time of year. I'm really hoping that we can get to some answers by the end of this month, and that I might be able to call the personnel committee. I'm not sure who's on the committee. Who's on personnel? One,
Yeah.
two, three?
The three of us.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can bring you guys together, and because we've got some ideas, but again, you know, this just changes almost daily. So that's my goal, hoping I can get you guys together by the end of this month, before spring break. We'll just see how it goes. I'm looking forward to our conversations with the union, our friends up at the high school. We've got a lot of work to do, but we'll get there. I didn't want to ever have to do this again, but here I am. It's going to be great. We're going to do okay. I'm happy that we've got some dates at least into the hands of our community. Those are important dates. The rest of it we'll talk about together. We spent some time last week, a couple hours in my office going through contract language. We're going to be coming to you guys with some of that and some of those suggestions, working through Troon Law to get some suggestions from folks who know what they're doing better than we do. And then the financials will follow in there somewhere, but we'll get there. Hang in there, Jamie. Had a good PAC meeting last week, do it again next month. Hopefully this is, something that your new superintendent will pick up wherever I leave off. And hoping for better attendance. We had a great agenda. I think I shared it with you in the box score. Pretty sure I did. Had a great agenda, got good feedback. It's just, it's what we should be doing. We should be having the conversations about the goings-on in the district. Some pretty exciting stuff. So one of my favorite times a year, and I remember doing this when I was the superintendent before, there will come a day when the sun's shining and it'll be 70, just close your eyes and imagine it for a minute. It'll be 75, 80 degrees. It'll be after school hours, 4 o'clock on-ish, and it'll be one of those days where the track team is participating, the softball team, the baseball team, you'll have, what am I missing, tennis, and it is truly one of my favorite things, to walk around the campus and watching, so many of our student population involved in these great activities after school. It's a heartwarming time. I would encourage all board members to put their walking shoes on and come and join me because it's something to look forward to. And I just saw an extended weather forecast before I got here tonight. They're talking really warm temps for the next few weeks, maybe no more school days. Oh, so I stand corrected. No more snow days. I don't know how many you've had, Mark. 6, I think. 6 of them. I did. Yeah, everybody loves me. It is apparently the most important thing that I do. So I guess that's it. That's superintendent's report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. As far as board comments, I had a couple of things. The second public input keeps coming up as a request, and I continue to get emails on it and so forth. So I just wanted to get a poll from the board to see who's interested in adding that back to the agenda like we used to have years ago. So how many of you would like to see it added? I think that's the
I would add
majority.
it, but the thing is that, and something that I've always talked about with the community when I was going to door, is that sometimes the community needs to talk about things before we vote on them, and that still doesn't allow that. So that's my,
So the intent would be to keep both, and so we used to have it for years. So let's go ahead and plan on adding the second one to the agenda. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I connected with Andy Engel, our consultant with Michigan Leadership Institute, just to get a little bit of an update so that there might be something to share tonight. And he said for where we are in the process that we're on track and the search is going well. So that's really all that is available at this time. But that was a good report from him. So that's all I have. Did anybody else have anything that they wanted to share as board comments?
I'll share. So I've heard everyone tonight about it seemed like the signing of that code of ethics was very important to everyone. It was important to me. I personally felt that it was all covered actually more tightly within the policies, so I thought it was too vague, but I do hear you, and I want to show good faith effort and let you guys know that I do hear you, and I want to assure you and reassure those that already know me that I have the same goals as you. So I will sign that, and just know that my goal is to work for all of the students, to do what's best for all the students, and to help bring this community together. I'm really hoping for that. And I am open, if anyone does, I haven't met many of you that talked about me, but I'm happy to go to lunch sometime if anyone wants to, on me, go to coffee, and get to know me personally. I'd be open for that. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I want to apologize to the English teachers for me stumbling on the word cabling as bad as I did. So, sorry.
Okay, well, on that note, we're adjourned.